Welcome to the Young Soul podcast. Everyone is showing you how great their lives are and what amazing things they are doing. But I am here to show you the real side of social media, how people deal with difficult things in their lives, and what it's like to become an adult in this period of time. Young Soul means that growing up, we see others as individuals who have a mind of their own. As young individuals, we are developing our own perspective on the world, and we are aware that others aren't who we are and that we are not other people. We all tend to feel like we need to compete with others, but we don't. In this podcast, I talk about that and so much more. Welcome to the second podcast on this channel. Today I am with a guest actually. Hailey, thank you for coming on my podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I'm wanting to ask you if you want to introduce yourself so listeners can know a little bit about you.
Well, my name is Hailey Noa. I'm from the Netherlands, from Amsterdam, and I'm a soul purpose coach, and I help women, girls uncover what their soul purpose is. And with soul purpose, I mean what you are meant to do on this earth. And I help you figure out what it is that you're meant to do and how you can turn that into a meaningful, profitable career.
So I'm going to ask you some hot seat questions. This is basically a fancy way of asking questions for the people who don't know what hot seat is. So for the listeners, it's just kind of a speed dating round. So the first one, your best purchase under 100 euros within the past 3 months.
So I play ukulele as a hobby, and in the past 3 months I bought a membership with which every other week I join a webinar in which I learn how to play a new song on the ukulele. So I
That's
think
so
that
fun. I started playing ukulele as well during quarantine, so I know where you're at. I actually stopped having acrylic nails for it. So I wore acrylic nails for the past 2 years, and I was like, well, I want to play ukulele. So I gave him my nails, which is still really weird because I can't do anything without them because I'm so used to them, and my hands are so small. So I don't know what the deal is about that. But yeah, I love playing ukulele as well. I love singing, so that was why I started. But I love that you're doing a hobby right now. So that's great.
That's so
So
fun.
a tip to your younger, maybe even teenage self.
A tip to my younger teenage self would be don't stress out so much because you don't know what the future will be. Live in the moment, enjoy the moment, and trust that everything will be all right.
Yeah, and I think that people my age, because I'm 19, so a lot of people my age try to grow up so quickly.
Yeah.
I've always been a little bit more independent. That's why I moved out to live on my own at 18. But I always have been an only child, so probably that's why that helped me a little bit. But I think a lot of people try to grow up so quickly, and I think this is just a time we can do anything we want, So we try to grow up so quickly. Of course, adulting is a thing, but you shouldn't have to give up on things.
Yeah, true. I was always so stressed out about my schoolwork and about whether or not I would, have a good job when I was all grown up.
Yeah.
And nothing really turned out as I expected it to when I was a
No, for
teenager
sure.
or,
It's so true.
you know.
Yeah.
So if only I had known that, I would have probably relaxed a bit more and enjoyed myself a lot more.
Yeah.
I wasn't in control anyway, so
Yeah, for sure. Like when I started high school, this is going to be great. And high school's gonna be everything for me, which ended up being horrible. But then I started doing my study, and I knew I was going to do something creative. But I would have never thought me starting my business at 19 and stuff if I would have told that to my 12 or 13-year-old self. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird way of thinking because you really don't expect yourself to go that way.
Yeah, true.
So the third question. Do you feel the need to compete with other businesses in this industry today?
No, I don't necessarily feel the need to compete because I do believe that I'm unique enough to, help my group of people. And there are also so many people that I can help. It's good that there are more people in my industry who do something similar, who can help the people that I can help, or the people who don't resonate with me or I don't resonate with them. That's a good thing. And I really try to find my own voice and my own unique way of approaching soul purpose, connecting to your soul, connecting to yourself, and that will resonate with other people. It won't with some, and then there will be other people who can help them. At the end of the day, when you approach it like this, there's no real competition, although there are more players in the field.
Yeah, I think that's so true. I think you're such your own person and you have something to offer. And I think because everyone is different, no one will
Mm-hmm.
exactly offer the same thing, you know. So, of course, there are people who are doing the same thing as you, but they won't offer
Mm-hmm.
the same thing. So, I
Yeah,
think that's really important to keep in mind.
yeah, true. And I do try to not focus on what other people are offering, so that
Yeah.
I create my own offer, I create my own content, I find my own tone of voice. When I just started out, I was really focusing on what other people were doing and trying to figure out how I could do something similar, but that was really, making me crazy and very insecure, and I just decided to not do that. So if you would ask me, like, who's your direct competition, for example, at this moment, I wouldn't really know how to answer that, because I don't really focus on that.
I hate competing with others, even though I tend to go towards that because I used to be afraid to fail at everything, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
competing with other people, mostly competing with myself, has always been a thing to struggle with. But I think my business is a totally different thing because it's one thing I really love to do. And I think if I focus on that, it'll be fine, you know? So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
focusing on yourself and on what your goal is way more important than focusing what other people their goal is.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's not something that you can influence. And I honestly feel that what other people are doing is none of your business, or it's none of my business. I need to focus on myself and what feels good for me, and base my decisions and my actions on that. And then you cannot go wrong,
Yeah,
because you are
totally.
in tune with yourself.
Your favorite thing to do in your free time, or like a simple thing that makes you happy?
Oh, well, there are, quite some things. So playing the ukulele is one thing. I have two bunnies as pets. I love playing with them, spending time with them. I love doing yoga, but I also love doing pole dancing, for example.
Oh, that's so
So,
cool. Yeah.
yeah. So there are really all kinds of things, small things that I can really enjoy. But also, I love to eat French fries,
Yeah.
which
We love.
can be a problem.
Like
I can
once you have
really
the
enjoy that.
fries, all your problems go away. So it's
Yes,
totally fine.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I
Yeah, one
can
of my
enjoy
best
that.
friends started pole dancing actually. She's like really into it
Really?
at the moment. So their class is trying to move things outside right now because of the
Mm,
coronavirus. But she was like, how are they going to put like a pole in the middle of a grass field? How is that
yeah.
gonna work?
You have poles on stages, so you can place that
Oh,
outside.
that's probably,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I have my own pole, so I'm okay for now.
Yeah,
Now that
that's
they're,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's really hard to stay motivated to work out during this time because me and my housemates, we try to work out. We do it in the backyard, but yeah, you
Mhm.
don't work out any longer than 15 to 20 minutes, I feel like, because you don't have any equipment. And normally I just go
Right.
to the gym and I'll be there for like one
Yeah.
and a half to 2 hours. And it's just a really
Hmm.
different experience.
Yeah.
So,
That does make a difference. If you don't have the equipment, then
yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
it's a totally different experience.
Yeah. So, someone or something that really inspired you.
Well, one person who really inspires me and has inspired me ever since I was a young girl is Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, for sure. I love
Yeah,
her. Yeah.
yeah. And I always loved her show as a young girl. I would come home from school, turn on the TV, and watch her show. And I always thought that it was so cool that she was able to really help people, that she had so much wisdom, and
Yeah.
people were, talking about their issues, and
She's
she
very
was,
wise. She knows like
yeah,
everything.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, and she's such an authority. And I have to admit that at some point I lost a bit of track. I wasn't following her as much and what she was doing. And then when I went into coaching, I realized, oh, Oprah Winfrey might have inspired me unknowingly to move into this direction. And I started to follow her again. And then I saw that she is now also helping people to find their purpose.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool coincidence that
Yeah,
I
exactly.
ended up doing the same thing as she without me
Yeah.
knowing it when I started.
Yeah, that's so fun. Yeah, I started to get into the law of attraction like a couple years ago. And the
Mm-hmm.
first video I saw was hers.
Oh, yeah.
She talks about law of attraction a lot, and I think she explains it so well in a very easy way, which got me into the law of attraction. She literally knows something about every subject. She is such a good teacher, and I think it's really important to open yourself up for anyone who can teach you. A lot of people tend to be afraid to ask for help or don't want to be taught because they think they are the
Mm-hmm.
smartest in the room, but you're never going to be the smartest one in the room. So why not ask for help? Try to ask them to teach you something because then you will actually become smarter.
Yeah. Often asking for help is seen as a weakness, but I believe that it's more of a strength because you can't do everything
No.
and you don't know everything and you're not the only person in the world. So there are other people who
No,
are
exactly.
better or smarter or,
Yeah.
more skilled in some fields. You don't have to do it alone. So
No, for
yeah.
sure. And I think we all think we have to do everything alone, but there are so much
Yeah.
more people out there that do the same thing as you who you can learn from. So what is your feel good song?
Ooh, my feel good song.
Yeah.
I really like, this is the first thing that comes to mind. I have more, but I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
That is like a really,
Yeah, that's
really,
fun.
really nice feel good
Yeah,
song.
when I was younger, I used to listen to Katy Perry like so often.
Mm.
So every time we go to a club and we go to a karaoke bar or something, we always like use a
Yes.
song from Katy Perry because we all know the lyrics. So like
Which
it's
one?
most of the time it's like I Kissed a Girl or something because that's
Oh
such a fun
yeah.
song, or like Hot and Cold or something. They're like
Yeah.
her throwback songs, and it's so fun just because we use it with like clubbing and stuff. So it's always linked to something fun. So I think I never played in my home. So but it's like it's a feel good song to me. Yeah.
I love that. I've been to 2 Katy Perry concerts,
Oh
so
yeah,
it
I've never
totally,
been because I was like way too young then, and I'm like not
yeah.
into her now. So
All right.
yeah, I used to be like so fan. I even had the CD California Dream or something. What
Yeah,
was it
could
called?
be.
That smelled like her perfume she always wore. Like she had like
Really?
I had the smelling CD, and it was like the coolest thing to me. It was amazing that I had that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I've had so many phases with music artists. I used to be into Katy Perry, and then, do you remember Birdie? She was with the singer and songwriter, and then I loved her for like a period. I had her CD as well, and then I fully fell in love with Rihanna. I had like Rihanna phase, and then Ariana Grande was a big thing, and
Mm.
now I'm on Billie Eilish. So we've had our phases. Yeah, it's so fun to look back at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love that.
How would you describe the place you feel at home?
I would describe it as warm because I don't like to be cold.
For sure, I hate being
Yeah,
cold. Literally, 2/3 of the year, I'm cold.
me
Like,
too.
if it's not above 17 degrees, I will be cold.
Yes, me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
for
And
sure.
even higher, like 21. It's terrible. It's really terrible.
Yeah, and I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. It just happens. In the winter, I sleep with like a hoodie and like a thick sweatpants and 3
Yeah.
blankets and 4 pillows, and I'm still cold, and I don't know how it happens.
So it has to be warm for sure. And then there has to be laughter too. And that's very important. French fries needs to be a regular thing in my
I feel like this
home.
is gonna come back a lot of times in this podcast. Like the French fries, we need to keep up with that.
Yeah, yeah, it could very well be. Could very well be. Because I mean, I like eating French fries outside, but I really love it the best when I'm at home. And I know it's a podcast, so people can see it, but you can see it here. I have this yellow chair. This is the
Oh
chair
yeah.
where I sit in. And then I watch Netflix over there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I eat my French fries in here. And my bunnies are over there. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So your go-to drink to order?
Depends on my mood. I'm in a ginger beer phase right now.
Like right now, there's been
Right
a lot of different
now,
faces.
yes, there has been a lot of phases. So it's like when I don't want alcohol, I have the ginger beer.
Yeah.
If I do want the alcohol, then I do prefer something like a Moscow Mule that
Mm-hmm.
has alcohol and ginger beer. Yeah.
So like a combination. So like
It's like, yeah,
it doesn't matter what mood I'm in, like ginger beer needs to be there.
it needs to be there.
Yeah, I have like different moods as well. If I go for a coffee or anything, I will either get a latte or an iced latte with caramel, which is amazing. Also, there's this drink at Starbucks, which I almost never get because it's like 5.80. It's expensive. But when I go there, I'm gonna get the large one, you know, I'm gonna get the venti. It's happening. Those 40 cents don't matter anymore if you're already like spending more than €5 on a coffee. It's a frappe with like
That's
whipped
nice.
cream on top. It's so good. So if I'm getting a coffee at Starbucks, that's what I get. It's like the chocolate chip frappe, I believe. Then when I'm not in a coffee mood, if I want something with alcohol, I will get either rosé, and I love mojitos.
Yeah, I love
Mojitos are
them
so
too.
good. They're really good.
Definitely.
Yeah. Otherwise, I just get an iced tea or something. What is a childhood moment you feel like defined you? I thought this was like a really interesting question.
I had a very complicated childhood.
Mm-hmm.
I was abused as a child, mentally and physically, by my mom.
Yeah.
I don't know who my father is, so I was always with her. I'm an only child,
Yeah.
so and that definitely impacted me. But I, at the same time, don't want to say that it defines me,
No, for
because
sure.
it's something that happened to me, and it's a part of me, and it has scarred me, but it doesn't make who I am. And for some people who grow up in a situation in which I grew up, it could be that they don't have the strength to rise above it, to nonetheless, do their best in school, go to college, finish college, and things like that. And regardless of my past, although that happened, it did not stop me to be motivated, to try to make the best out of myself. I always said this is not going to stop me to get ahead in life.
Yeah.
And it has made me a fighter,
Yeah,
and I
for
will
sure.
continue to fight until my last breath.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think something like that is, of course, it has such an impact, especially on a child. And of course, you will always carry it with you, but it really makes you a fighter. I think, like you said, of course, this will always stay with you. This is not something that just goes away, you know? And I think, yeah, it shaped you into the person you are. But of
Yeah,
course, it
definitely.
doesn't define you at all. At
No,
all. Like, really not.
no, I'm not a victim, but yeah.
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 Also, subjects like this are like so difficult to talk about because I think for a lot of people they feel like they had something to do with themselves, but it's so not up to the child or person who it has happened to. It's so out of your league to do anything about it, and there are so much misunderstandings about how people are supposed to feel, or I think that's for everyone. It's so different how you deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been almost 2 years that I started to talk about this openly. Up until that point, I didn't talk about it, or I even kept it a secret, because I was really ashamed of it, and not so much because I thought that it was my own fault, but I did think that it did define me, that people would see me as broken or unsuitable, or like not good enough or not worthy enough, because my mom for some reason thought that I wasn't worthy enough. And I was afraid that if people would know that about me, that they would see me differently. At some point I realized, if that is the case, then that is totally up to those people. That doesn't say anything about me.
No.
But it feels, at least in my surroundings, it's like I'm the only one who has ever experienced this. And it's also because people don't talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
And growing up, I really felt alone and ashamed. And I never really thought about getting help. It was for multiple reasons. But, if people would talk about it more openly, and children, teenagers can see other examples of people who went through that, then they can know that they're not alone, that there is hope, that they can get help, and that it's not their fault. So it's really important to talk about it.
I know some people that have been sexually abused or touched or whatever, and it says so much that I know some people, and probably a lot of people don't even speak about it. So I think people shouldn't do this to a person. It's so
Yeah, it's terrible.
it does so many things to your head, to how you feel. You literally do something against our will, and it's just not something
Yeah.
that should happen. And it's so difficult for me to see that a lot of people go through this, and that I already know 3 people that have experienced this. So there are so many people who go through this, and especially who go through this alone. And I think if you have friends, if they truly are your friends, they will understand you, they will guide you, and they will help you through it. If they react like you said, like they would judge you for it, then I don't think those are the right people for you.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's go into like another question.
Sure.
So what's your favorite book?
At this moment, my favorite book is The New Earth by Eckhart Tolle.
Mm-hmm.
In this book, he describes how to live in the now, how the
Yeah.
mind works, and how to free yourself from the ego. And I already knew quite a lot about it, but it really gave me a new perspective on the whole topic, and it really opened my eyes even more. And it
Yeah,
was
I
really
know
cool.
him. My dad used to play his DVDs. Like
Mm,
I was under 12, but he annoyed me so much because, of course, it was something my dad played, and my dad was always talking about living in the now and stuff. And I was just a kid, and I
mm.
didn't understand anything of it. So I know the guy, and it's just like it has such a weird experience for me because I used to not like him when I was younger. So I
Yeah,
feel this
yeah,
barrier to like him now because
yeah.
it was always something
Yeah.
I didn't want in my house. Yeah.
Right.
But like he says some good things, but it's just I don't fight with the guy, you know. His books are probably really good, but I don't get to reading them because there are a lot of other books that I can read.
Yeah, give it time. Maybe
Yeah.
you need to read some other books first before
Yeah,
you are ready
exactly.
to read his. Yeah.
If we talk about fiction, I really love all the Hunger Games books.
Oh,
I grew up with
yes.
them. Hunger Games is my
Yeah.
favorite movie, so
Yeah.
I've seen it way too many times. People keep judging me for it.
Oh,
I don't
I
even
won't
mind
judge you.
anymore.
No,
No,
I
but
love
like
that
it's
too.
it's horrible. I could have watched so many movies within the time of me watching just the Hunger Games. It's not okay, but yeah, I love those. And then my favorite poetry album is Flux by Orion, Carloto, Vanessa. She actually
Mhm.
like inspired me to become a writer as well. So
Oh, wow.
I really love her book. It's such an
Cool.
amazing book, and she writes things and then even like puts pictures in her book from her diary. So it's like really feelings on paper and not even like
Wow.
adjusted and stuff. So it's really,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really special. And she is coming out with another book this year. So I can't wait for the book to come out. Because this is her second book that will come out. So this was her first one. I love it so much. It's a really good book. It's only like 12 years or something. So if you're like into poetry, you should really get it. Flux is just amazing book. Yeah, for sure.
Nice. Thank you for this
Yeah,
recommendation. Cool.
yeah. We'll link it down below so you can get it if you want to.
Mm.
So, the best piece of advice you've given someone recently?
Yesterday, I met with some of my friends, colleagues from the yoga studio where I also work, and we were talking about the law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
And this one girl, she spoke about that she tried to manifest careless birth. Her son is now 14 months, so a little over a year ago she gave birth, and
Yeah.
she tried to manifest, an easy, stress-free, safe birth. And she ended up having to go to the hospital, and she said, I really believe in the law of attraction, and I feel that I've done something wrong
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't able to manifest the birth that I needed.
Yeah.
What people often forget when it comes to manifesting is that it's very important to say it is this or something better.
Yeah.
And you can try to manifest, and she really wanted to give birth at home.
Mm-hmm.
So she tried to manifest that. But it ended up being that her son had his umbilical cord around his neck.
Mm-hmm.
So for her and her son, it was better that she had to go to the hospital already
Yeah.
early in her labor stage. So I told her, is this or something better? And
Yeah.
you got something better. She looked at me at that point and she said, thank you. I
Yeah.
really needed to hear that because for over a year, I thought that I had done something wrong.
Yeah.
I was able to tell her, you did everything right. universe had you in that moment.
Yeah, and I
So,
love like the law of attraction, astrology, and the universe are like two things I really believe in because so many people have used the law of attraction and it has really worked for them. And it is something that you just have to put in the hard work, you have to manifest. Yeah, you need to be in the right frequency to attract the law of attraction, to use it. But I think it really helps. It has helped me so much. If I look back at where I was 3 years ago, I'm in such a different place right now. It's something that happens over time. Like I didn't even realize it worked for me until I look back at who I used to be and who I am now and where I am right now in life. And it really has helped.
yeah.
So yeah.
And in what sense? What is the difference that you notice between your
Um,
present self and your
well,
younger
for
self?
sure, me as a person, I'm way less stressed about things, let go of things easier, and I feel so much better in my skin. And I lost a lot of people who were bad for me. So when I
Mm-hmm.
said goodbye to high school, I said goodbye to all of these people who were bad for me. And that was a decision I had to make because I didn't finish high school. So I dropped out before the last year because I would have gotten a burnout if I didn't get
Mm.
out. So I did that, and now I'm in a friend group who is amazing. I have a really close friend group with two of my best friends right now, and people around me are so much more loving. And I feel like I have always given, and now I'm getting things back. I really see the difference in that between me and my parents. Since I moved out,
Mm.
it's so much better. Our relationship is so much better than it used to be, and I really felt like moving out was the thing I needed to do in order to make that bond better between us, and it really did. So those life decisions you make together with the law of attraction can really help you get to your goal. And yeah, it worked for me. So yeah, I just realized a few weeks ago that it was law of attraction. Like the things I wished for, I got now. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, that's
That's
really weird
great.
to think about. I wished for these close friends and I wished for less stress and not having to worry about things I didn't want to learn and being able to focus on the things I love. And that's all I'm doing right now.
Mm.
So yeah,
That's amazing.
it's
Yeah.
such a difference. Okay, so I have the last question.
All right.
What's one thing in your morning routine that you love?
It's part of my morning routine to meditate. I notice a difference when I don't do it compared to when I do
Yeah.
meditate. Um, it really helps me to start the day grounded and centered and well, more in touch with myself. It makes me more calm and it makes me more present. I do have to admit that some mornings I don't do it, but I love it when I do it.
Yeah, but it's okay
So,
to like not always do the same thing. If you don't feel like it, don't push yourself too much to do
yeah.
it because you will experience it in a bad way and you will
Hmm.
not like it in the future. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there are two things about it. When you don't do it every day, it will help you to see the difference too compared to when you do it. When
Yeah.
you just do it and it's a routine, it's automated
Mm-hmm.
instead of, it's
Yeah.
maybe becomes something that you have to do and something that instead of something that you want to do. So it makes the difference very clear. And then also what often happens is that people say you need to meditate every day. And for many people, that is just not realistic. And
No.
people want to start meditating, but then they get demotivated because they're not able to do it every day. And then they think,
Yeah.
oh, I can't do it, or I have to start all over again, or it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So I really hope that by also admitting like yes I'm also a meditation teacher and I don't meditate every day in the sense that I sit down on my meditation pillow and I meditate.
Yeah.
And I really hope that by admitting that I make it more accessible for other people to try it and not do it every day too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like for people who want to start meditating, maybe try to put it into your Sunday routine to get into
Yes.
it. And if you like it, you can add one more day and just build up from there. The same thing. A lot of people are now doing the Chloe thing. Her like
Yeah.
2 week workout and they put in like 15 to 20 minutes every day. And I tried
Every
it.
day.
After 3 days, I just quit. I just
Yeah.
couldn't do it because there's such
Most
a pressure
people.
on it. I don't know. Just
Most
yeah.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too much. Three
Yeah.
days is the max for most people.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
tried. So before we started this podcast, we talked about a little bit about these topics which we wanted to talk about. So the first topic we wrote down was which study is right for you. And I think this can be a really difficult thing growing up because all of these people have expectations of you, especially some people, their parents are putting you in a box and they say you have to study this or that. While maybe you want to do something totally different. Then of course you have all of these people around you with opinions and stuff. So I think it
Hmm.
can be really difficult.
It is a difficult thing if you place the choice outside of yourself.
Yeah.
So, like you say, if you listen to what your parents think is right for you, or
Mm-hmm.
if you base your decision on, well, basically on what your ego wants, if you say, well, when I grow up, I want to be rich or I want to be powerful. So I need to do something. I need to make a study choice that will enable that will make me rich, that will make me powerful. But those are all things that are based on the outside world and on outside expectations. But if instead of focusing on what you think that you should do or what you think you should want, you focus on, well, how is it that I want to feel in my future? Of course, you
Yeah.
probably want to feel financially stable.
Yeah,
And
for
there's more
sure.
than one way to reach that. So if you know that you don't want to be stressed, for example, in your future, or you don't want to have to do a job where you have to put in long hours, then you know that studying law, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and wanting to work at a big law firm is probably not a right fit for you.
Yeah.
So focus on how it is that you want to feel in the now and in the future, and base your decisions on that. And
Yeah.
don't let yourself get distracted by fear that's in your head, that's maybe saying not enough, it needs to be bigger, no one will acknowledge you, you won't be powerful, you won't be rich. Those are all things that the ego says,
Yeah.
that is the voice of fear. And if you let fear decide your life, at some day you're going to realize that you took a wrong turn
Yeah.
because you didn't make choices based on yourself in connection with your soul, but you made choices based on fear.
Yeah, I think that you really should trust your gut instinct. It's really important because sometimes we can feel this thing and do the other thing, but your
Mm-hmm.
gut instinct is like almost always right. And
Yeah.
if you feel somewhere that this isn't the study you should be doing,
Yeah, then you
this
shouldn't.
goes for starting a job as well. If it isn't something you want to do
Mm-hmm.
in every part of your body, then don't start it, you know?
Yeah,
And maybe like
true.
if you want to choose a study, create a list of all the things you love to do first. If like no one's judging you or anything, just create a list for yourself and then go from there and see what studies there are with the things you love and looking that
Yeah,
way.
I truly believe that the things that you love, the things that you're passionate about, the things that light you up, that is not by coincidence. You like the things that you like because they are a part of your soul and they're part of who you are at your core, at a soul level.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's not by coincidence that you like, well, whatever it is. So for example, for me, I loved watching Oprah Winfrey as a young child. That wasn't by coincidence. It
No.
was because there was a part of what I saw in her that was a reflection of me and of what my soul's purpose is on this earth. It's a really good advice to see what is it that you like
Mm-hmm.
and start doing more of those things.
Yeah.
And don't worry about that it's not enough, that you won't be able to find a job, because you never know how your future will turn out. If you follow what lights you up, you cannot go wrong.
No, I think that's so true. And also, don't rush yourself. Like, try to
Yeah.
take your time to choose this study. Don't decide right away if you have doubts. Try
Hmm.
to really take your time to choose between things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And also don't be afraid to admit that something is not working.
Yeah, for
If
sure.
if you decided to do a certain study and you realize that it's not for you, that it's not working, that it's not making you happy, that it's not lighting you up,
Yeah.
then, don't be afraid to say, okay, I've tried this. Now I know that this is not working. I'm going to do something else.
Yeah.
Because in our culture, People can be very judgmental about people who've quit their studies,
Yeah,
one
yeah, for
time or
sure.
even multiple times. Honestly, when I was, younger, I was studying, I also had a lot of judgment about that too. And now I see that those people were really smart and they were really in tune with themselves to at least know this is not for me, so I'm not going to stick to it just because it's expected
Yeah,
or because people might have an opinion of it. It's not working for me, so I'm going to let it go and create space for the things that are working. If you're listening to this and you're on a path that doesn't feel right, know that it's okay to stop doing it, change
yeah,
direction. And if you need to take some time to not work or not,
totally
not
fine.
study,
Take a
yeah.
step back. It's totally fine. And I said this in my first podcast as well. All of these people are doing all of these amazing things right now during quarantine, and I think people can feel very pressured that they have to do the same. Like they have all of
Hmm.
this free time. Like I should do all of these things, and
Yeah.
it makes them even more stressed. Well, we have given time, literally. Like the earth has
Yeah.
given us time and space to reflect on ourselves and what we were doing before, and if this still works for us. So if you need to take that step back, like now is your time, now is your moment
Hmm.
to take that step back. And it's
Hmm.
totally fine if you do. If this is what you need to move forward in life, then this is like really important for you and you really should do that.
Yeah.
And I also think that a few people indeed talk about being rich when they grow up. I
Mm.
want to have like this big house and stuff. But really, those things don't make you that happy. I have this friend, and he always told me, I'm going to do this after this study, and I'm going to do this and that so I can earn this and that. And I always said to him, don't try to let money guide your way.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's really important because
Yeah.
I really have faith in it that if you do what you love, you will earn enough money for yourself to be
Hmm.
able to pay your bills and stuff.
Exactly.
And if that really makes you happy, then that's all you really need. I'm not earning a lot, and especially not right now. I just started my business and I'm not earning anything except for the money I get for my study. I'm not having a job right now because I normally work at Sissy Boy, and this is, yeah, they don't need a lot of people right now there. So, yeah, I'm not
Hmm.
working. So that's why
Right.
I started my business because I thought I literally have nothing to lose. I already have like
Yeah.
zero income. So I don't have anything to lose, so just why not start
Yeah.
it now so I can build from here. But I think this time I have been given is really important to see how I want to use it and that there's literally no pressure on how we use it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
True. And I always say first figure out what your soul purpose is. What is your mission on this earth?
Yeah.
And then find a job that can help you to fulfill that mission.
Yeah.
And if you know what that mission is, there are many different ways in which you can, bring that mission to life, in which you
Yeah.
can work on that mission. But that is going to help you because then you're not doing it for the money, you're not
Mm-hmm.
doing it for the fame, you're
Yeah.
doing it because in a certain way you want to make an impact on the world, and that is what you will work towards in your life. It changes. Now you're doing it like as a designer, maybe later on you're doing it as a teacher and maybe as a writer, who knows.
Yeah.
But that mission, that thing that you want to bring into this earth, that stays the same. And
Yeah.
when you know that, it won't be difficult to figure out what kind of job you want to do
Mm-hmm.
because you know what you are here to do on this earth.
Yeah.
And when you know yourself and you know your soul, you will also know what kind of activities, what kind of job will fit that.
Nothing is too far away, you know? If you have this dream and you want to do that, just go with it.
Yeah.
You really can achieve anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give it time.
It doesn't have
Sometimes
to
for
happen
some
overnight.
people, no.
Let's move on to the other topic. So, like,
Hmm.
who you really are and like how to get to know yourself, being vulnerable and stuff. Finding yourself is like really important.
Yeah.
And people always push you to find yourself and like be your best self and work
Mm.
hard for your goals and stuff like that. But I think if you want to do this slowly and move slowly, totally fine too, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like it has been, working hard and being busy, for example, trying to make things happen. That is like the holy grail. If you're not working hard, if you're not putting in many hours, if you're not feeling stressed all the time, then you're not doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not what I believe in. I believe that success and reaching your goals can come easily.
Yeah.
And better yet, if it's meant for you, it will come easily.
Yeah.
If you have to push and force and it's complicated, then that is a clear sign of the universe that you are not on the right path,
Yeah.
that you've taken a wrong turn somewhere. So that
Yeah.
you have to figure out, okay, what is it that I can do differently so that it will feel better and it will feel easier.
Mm.
And yes, maybe that means that reaching your goals will take more time. But if you can do it with the right mindset, while you feel good, while you feel relaxed, that is the most important.
Yeah.
Feeling good is one of the most important things in life. And if there's only one goal that you can have in life, then make sure that your actions make you feel good. If they make you feel stressed, if they make you feel anxious, if they make you feel small, insecure, then they're not the right choices for you.
Yeah, especially that. And I also think this goes for people in your life as well.
Yeah,
Like, you
definitely.
can have a lot of toxic people around you,
Yeah.
and seeing who those people are, and deciding to walk away from them is doing them a favor as well as for
Mm-hmm.
yourself, because those people aren't
Absolutely.
good for you and you are probably not good for them, because it's a toxic relationship and you will waste each other's time and make each other not feel good. And it may be really hard to walk away from them, because
Mm-hmm.
you have this friendship or this relationship or
Yeah.
whatever. But sometimes it really is the best thing for yourself and
Mm-hmm.
for the other person as well.
True. Absolutely. Well said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. Yeah, I think it's so
Yeah.
true because I have experienced this multiple times and I always thought it was about me, that it was my problem and that people just
Mm-hmm.
didn't like me or anything. But it's
Mm-hmm.
just about finding the right people for you. And
Exactly.
if you stay with the wrong people, you will feel wrong. Looking back at the situation, I can see that that was what it was about and not about the person I am, but just because you are not good for each other and because you're not on the same frequency.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
And also, not everyone comes in your life to be with you for a lifetime. Some people
yeah.
are only with you for a season. And you have those relationships, friendship, because there's something that you and the other person needs to learn out of that friendship or relationship. And once you've learned what it is that you needed to learn, it's okay if your ways part again. And in your case, with those friends, you have grown from that as well. And
Yeah,
now
for
you can
sure.
see that it's for the better,
Yeah,
what we spoke about before. It's
yeah,
this or
exactly.
something better.
Yeah.
And that is
Yeah,
what
and I
happens.
think that leaving friends or relationships behind in general, it makes you feel very like vulnerable because you lose a
Definitely.
friendship or a
Yeah.
relationship. But I
Mhm.
think being vulnerable can be strength too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. It's one of the biggest strengths that is
Yeah.
undervalued in our
Yeah,
world.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also try to be the best friend I want to have, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
How I wish a best friend would be to me, I try to be to my friends. Be a shoulder to cry on, always be there for them, not
Hmm.
judge them in any way, give them advice, listen if that's the only thing they need at the moment. Just try to be that person that you always wanted to have as a friend, because
Yeah.
you are the person who can make that a true person. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like the famous Gandhi quote, be the change you wish to see in the world.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, be the light,
Yeah.
be what it is that you want in life, be that for others.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that if you are that best friend for your friends,
Hmm.
then they will show it to you as well. So
That will
like
be
if
reciprocated.
you send out that positivity and try to be good for people, because you always like screw up and things and you learn from them, because we are really not perfect. I always have had these friends. I am doing all of these things because I'm like such a creative person. So I always am doing like multiple things at the same time, like starting a business at 19, and like people think I'm perfect because I'm doing all these things. So they come
Mm.
to me and they're like, "Well, your life is so perfect, and you do this and this and that, and I don't have those things. Like, how do you even do that? Those things might not even be good to you. That's the
Hmm.
first thing.
Yeah.
And besides, if I do all those things, that doesn't make me a perfect person. I have my
No.
things as well, and I have struggled growing up. It isn't easy because I am doing these things, and I think we shouldn't look at people who are doing a lot of things or like having this amazing job as they are perfect, because no
Yeah.
one is, you know.
No one is. Everyone
Yeah.
has their things, and it could really help if we start to share our failures
Yeah.
more often,
Yeah.
or at least successful people, maybe, or people who
Yeah.
are perceived as successful and
Yeah.
perfect, if they also share the times that it didn't work out.
I just think that that's reality. And
Yeah,
we
definitely.
use this. That's why I started this podcast, because I want to be able to have conversations with people, hear their experiences. Because I've been loving like listening to podcasts. It's such an easy way of getting to know people and their stories. Yeah, it's so different than just a YouTube video or an Instagram post, because I
True.
feel like Instagram is just the highlight reel of our lives. I'm not gonna
Hmm.
post a picture I don't like of myself. I'm not gonna share all my feelings on Instagram, because it can be really toxic to be on
Yeah,
Instagram and stuff. The whole podcasting that's coming up now, it's such a different social media.
true.
For people who want to listen to another podcast, the I Love You So Much podcast by Kenzie Elizabeth is really
Hmm.
amazing. I don't know if you have heard of her.
Heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, she has a YouTube channel. I've been following her since 3 or 4 years already. I believe she moved out at 17, so she was like really young. I have always followed her, and she has started her podcast last year. She talks with these influencers, but also with the girl who designed Passion Planner, and
Mhm.
she had like all of these errors, and I believe she had like a burnout and stuff, and
Mm.
then she literally became millionaire over a month, all
Really?
of the sudden, because of Passion
Wow.
Planner, because of this
Wow.
project. And like all of these people tell about their whole life experience and also the failures. And I think that's really important to
Hmm.
talk about as well. That's why I love her podcast so much. Everyone has their problems, and I think it's really important that we see the real side. And that's why this podcast, I started this, because there's so much more to a person than just their social media account.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I have like this
Yeah.
last topic.
Hmm.
It is social media. Wanting to be perfect, how to stop comparing yourself, like how to deal with social media in general. Social media has such a big impact on us. And I think I was the last generation to grow up with not having a phone.
Hmm.
I was 13 or like 12 when I got this Nokia phone, which was like really big, and you
Really?
could like throw it on the floor. I was 13 then, of 12.
But was that like an old one from your parents or
No, it was
something?
like
Because,
that was in at the time. Like if people had Blackberries, they were like so cool.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I had
Oh,
like this Nokia, which you could only like play Snake and Sudoku on it. But,
are
like,
we the same age?
I don't know. It's just my mom wanted me to have like a phone when I was 12.
When you were 12, yeah.
When I was 12, so because I had to like go on my bike to school by myself by then, so she
Yeah.
was like, "Have a phone so you can call me, whatever." I
Mm.
remember iPhones coming out, and I wasn't allowed to have one, which was like really horrible. I'm like looking back at it, I'm so grateful that I didn't go on social media until 14 or 15. I literally see children 10 or 12 like an iPhone 11 or something.
I
And it
know.
really scares me because
Yeah.
they're like scrolling on it. It's normal, it's their habit already, and it affects you so much mentally. And I think for my generation, it has been really hard coping with it. And we started going on social media at our 14th. Imagine what it will do to the minds of people who start way younger.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, it's insane
it's
to me.
true. There are two sides of it, because I do think that social media also has opened up like lots of opportunities, and it makes it easier to get in touch with people from all over the world, or to get to
Yeah,
know other people who are an inspiration or who are
yeah,
an
for sure.
example. So if you know how to use it, it can be great, but you do need to know that that is not the real world.
No,
And what
exactly.
happens a lot, and it still happens to me too, is that you start to compare, and
Yeah.
people don't always tell the full story,
No, they don't.
And I saw that the other day. It was this clip of a girl, and she was in, I think it was the United States, at the Black Lives Matter protests, and
Mm-hmm.
she was holding up a sign, and I don't know, her crew were taking pictures of her, and when they were done taking the pictures, she rolled up the sign and she walked away.
For
She
real.
wasn't going to join a protest, it was just for her social media.
That's
And
so
then there,
toxic. I know.
yeah, and there are
Yeah.
two sides of it, because maybe some of her followers see it, and she does create change, because they start to think about the topic and,
Mm-hmm.
they form an opinion. But why go to the protest, put in the effort of making the
Making a
sign,
banner and stuff. Yeah.
than not joining the protest? And that
Yeah.
is the danger of fakeness is
Yeah.
so high.
It's all about the
And
intention behind it. And
exactly,
this was not like a good intention. This was just for the followers.
it
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be, yes.
Yeah.
And especially when you are young, it's more difficult for your brain to make the separation between what is real
Yeah.
and what is fiction. Your brain is wired in a way that you believe everything to be true.
Yeah.
And if you are on social media the entire time, you think that it's normal
It
to,
becomes your
you know,
reality. Yeah.
it becomes your reality. You can use it in a positive way. It can inspire you. It can motivate you. It can help you
Mm-hmm.
set your goals.
Yeah.
It can help you find your purpose, follow your purpose. But if it brings your focus to the outside world instead of your inside world, what happens to a lot of people, then it can be dangerous.
My nephew and my cousin, they also have phones and they're 7 and 10. They have TikTok and stuff. Like I do too.
Yeah.
I know that it isn't real and I know these are just videos and they are making videos on it. And a lot of the time parents don't have any idea what their children are posting on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they are like in a bikini or something and they just don't think about it because you don't know
Yeah.
what is out there in this world. So they might be
Mm-hmm.
like posting this video of themselves just wearing a bathing suit or anything and then go really wrong. So as
Yeah.
parents, I really think we need to teach our children, especially during this time with social media being in our face all the time, that it is really
Yeah.
important to see the difference between what's real and what isn't and what's dangerous.
Yeah.
My mom always taught me when I was younger to have closed accounts and stuff. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to accept the people who wanted to follow me and
Yeah.
only my friends could see me. And like those things are really important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. That is really important. Be safe and be smart, that
Yeah.
goes for everything in life.
Yeah.
You know, this is something that you can do, well, quite easily. Close off your accounts if you are young or you're using it as a private person. If you're a company, if you're a business, it's
Yeah.
different. It needs to be
Exactly.
public.
Yeah.
But if not, don't. And don't post everything. You
Yeah.
don't have to share your entire life.
No, for
And
sure.
know that what you post is out there. So
Yeah.
if now you post a picture of you in bikini and half year you don't feel comfortable with that, it will probably still be out there.
Social media is really difficult to handle if you don't know what the situation is about. And sometimes I catch myself comparing myself or something. But I also
Mm,
I have a YouTube channel, have had it for like 5 years now.
yeah.
And sometimes I see a friend and they're like, "Oh my god, so fun you bought this," or like you did that. And I was like, I didn't even tell you about this. And they're like,
Yeah.
I saw it in your YouTube video. And I was like, oh shit, like people watch this. I know
Yeah.
my friends watch my videos, but sometimes I don't remember what I posted 4 weeks ago, like exactly all the things I said. So if I
Mm-hmm.
see your friend after a month right now and they're like, oh my god, it's so fun you bought that thing. I was like, I didn't even show you. So
You're
how do
right.
you even know? Yeah.
Yeah.
That shows that you can forget what you post.
Definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And I also think that it's good to give yourself time limit when it comes to spending time on social media.
Yeah. I talked about this in my last
Don't,
video and I'm
yeah,
doing that at the moment and it's great.
it
Yeah.
works.
It works. It really does. Sometimes I'm like, no, 1 minute more, like 15 minutes more.
Mm.
But like you are aware of what you're doing. And I think
Right.
that's
It's a
the
conscious
difference.
decision.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's a consciousness behind the decision to spend time on social media instead of mindless scrolling.
Yeah. And I
That
think
makes a
that's
world of
important.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Stay present.
Stay present. Yeah.
Came back more than the fries,
Yeah.
being present.
Be present, get
Yeah.
some fries.
Get some fries.
Yeah.
Be present
Well.
even more. Yeah. Make conscious
Yeah.
decisions.
Yeah.
Get in touch with yourself, with
Yeah.
your gut. Trust it, follow it, and it will all be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on, Hailey. I really love
Thank you for
talking
having
to
me.
you. We have been talking for 2 hours because
Almost
we
2 hours.
almost 2 hours because we started talking before the podcast, of course, because this is the
Yeah.
first time we're actually talk for real because we had this short meeting on the phone, but that was it. So we've been talking for 2 hours. So fun. That's what I mean
Yeah.
with like a podcast, because you get to know a person you didn't even knew existed a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love it
I
too.
love it.
Thank you so much for having
Yeah,
me.
of
I really
course.
enjoyed it.
Yeah. Do you want to
Really.
put your social media in here as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So if you want to check out more about me and my work, how to find your soul purpose, how to get in touch with yourself and your soul, and to learn more about meditation, you can go over to my website, www.haileynoa.com. And on Instagram, my handle is at @HaileyNoa_.
Yeah.
So check me out.
I'll put them in the description box as well, you guys. I hope you are okay wherever you are in the world. Thank you guys so much for listening. And until the next time. Bye, guys.